everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Lizzie. I hope you're doing good. Sorry I look like Master Yoda or a Jedi. Oh my god, I just saw mad orbs. That is cold and I'm too cheap to turn my heat back up. It's fucking May, bro. I don't want to turn my heat up. Ew. So I'm freezing over here. I live in upstate New York, by the way, so it's not exactly warm yet for us. And I'm super behind. So I didn't even open all the cards, but we're getting into it. Today is the first session for our reparenting series, and we are learning how to change your perception on gender roles. Right, so it doesn't cause conflict in your life, and you can help your kids grow into more well-rounded individuals. Yada shmada, you know the deal. You know the tea, that's why you're here. Alright, so next week, just to let you sneak peek at what we're doing is how to change expectations placed on you as a child. So like, if you grew up in a family that had like a company business and they expected you to work in it, if you grew up in politics, whatever was placed on you as a child that you feel or felt obligated you had to do, we're doing a reparenting therapy session for that next week. That's a big one. I would recommend everybody watch that one because we all have that issue. We might not all have issue with gender roles in our relationships or within ourselves, but we definitely all have stuff placed on us as child, subconsciously or purposely. It doesn't really matter. It's there. Anyway, I'm trying to make these shorter, so let's get into what we're talking about. Gender roles here, Spirit. Again, I picked the deck and I picked the topic, and then I let Spirit take over and I just translate. My stepmom got me this and it's so soft. It's like a blanket. I love this hoodie so much. I don't know where she got it because I got it for Christmas. And I like it because I can snuggle. Like, it's like a blanket. Snuggle. A hug from a blanket is what I meant to say. Twin flame. I am reparenting for the twin flame, collective, or lovers. Your partners. That's what twin flames is. Partnership. Equal counterparts. We are all equal. That means nobody is too good to do the dishes and nobody's too good to take out the trash. If you feel me. I'm not going to get hung up on like literal gender roles. I think we're all advanced enough to know that everybody's got to do their fair share. Women are working, like we don't need to harp that to death. I'm just trying to help you in your relationships, like stuff your parents taught you, like that you subconsciously learned or feel like you have to do. You're like, why are we even arguing about this? I don't know. Anything else on this deck before I move on? Crystals. This is about intention and clearing the air. So, if you're in a relationship with someone and you feel like they are putting stuff on you or expecting things from you because of your gender, Spirit says it's very simple. Speak up. Clear the air, because most often that is not the case. That's something that, you know, their parents did, and, you know, their siblings who are married to other people do that too. They just think it's a thing, and sometimes it takes someone else growing up in a different family, growing up in a different way for someone to realize, oh, that's not normal. Oh, okay. Well, what would you like to do? And then that way you open the discussion, and even if you don't know what to do, be like, I don't know, but that ain't it. You know what I mean? You have to talk. You have to clear the air. You have to tell them how you feel. I think a lot of the gender stuff happened for so long is because no one would talk about it, no one would address it. It was just like you would look down and be like, and then complain about it to other people in like your church group or your family circle or your book club. Just talk to each other. It's very simple. We fear the talking, but the talking isn't actually the hard part. The listening and not reacting before thinking is the hard part. If you get nervous, focus on service. Exactly. If you get too nervous to tell your person, focus on why you're doing it. Maybe they're putting too much of the housework on you and you work a full-time job too and you're just exhausted and you want to sit down and you need them to help you. So be like, look, I'm helping myself by speaking up for myself because I'm going to fall on my face. I literally need help. I'm being a service to myself. You need to focus on yourself sometimes. And when your partner comes to you with these types of things, we have to be willing to listen without an angry fight mode. Like, oh, you're just trying to pick a fight. Or, oh, you're just trying to think up ways to, rock the boat. Or like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why all of a sudden is this a problem? And, it isn't all of a sudden a problem. Nobody should ever say that. How many times have you heard that growing up in relationships? How many times have people said that to you? It's like, that's a toxic ass thing. It's been in there and you finally got it out of your body. It doesn't matter how long it's been in there. If it's been a second or 5 years. It's being addressed now. Why are you harping on times? Time is irrelevant. I digress. Let's go. Spirit, we're going on to a new deck. Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, that was Angel Therapy Oracle cards, Pocket Edition. And this is Archangel Oracle cards, Pocket Edition. Clear your space. Yep, that's clear the air. This is about not allowing things that bug us about our spouses and how they treat us to become resentment. By addressing it in the moment that it happens, it's cleared and talked about. Even if you fight it's better to fight for a day or two than hold it and hold it and hold it and grow this giant resentment that eventually causes you to divorce. In the grand scheme of it, I would rather do 2 days of shit than the grand scheme of oh shit. You know what I mean? Also pick your battles. Is it worth? Sometimes it's just better to listen to the other person and appease them a little bit, even if you think it's what? That seems ridiculous. It's not to them. And when you have something that you want taken seriously, you don't want them to be like, oh, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? You want them to listen. So have the same respect. And when you step out of line in an argument, you gotta have, I don't know why this is going into arguing therapy, but I feel like a lot of why people fight and bicker is I remember it as a parent, as a kid growing up with my parents, and I hear it from my friends now. I might not be married and have kids, but I know a lot of people are. I'm 38 years old. So it's they're always I always have to cook and clean and do the laundry and, get the kids ready for school, and you get to come home and be the fun dad. And a lot of the fights comes from imbalance of weight. And that could be emotional, physical, or literal. So I feel like Spirit is just saying to sit down and talk to each other about how much you can handle. Look at all the chores. Make a chart. Just alternate days, and then nobody can get pissed. Oh, it's your day. Great. Okay, it's your day. Great. You're not doing it all the time. And everything balances out because everybody has to do it. Equality. Preach. World's equality. Charts are fantastic. I'm a Virgo. I want to chart your whole house for you. Just give me a label machine and I am a happy lady. Anyway. Clairvoyance. Take back your power. To me, this is saying, remember back in the camp days when somebody has the talking stick, everybody's quiet. When your partner is speaking, even your mind has to quiet. Listen to the words coming out of their mouth. Look at their body language. Look at the stress or the anger or the sadness on them. Put yourself in their shoes as they're speaking. We got to learn to just not be so reactive instantaneously. Social media and everything is moving so quickly that in real life, in real time, we don't process those things that quickly. We need a minute. You know what I mean? So take a minute, listen to what they have to say, think about it for a second, and then speak. Like old school. With your camp counselor. Who wants the talking stick next? I don't know if you did that, but I had to do that. I'm a talk over sometimes. Like if I just feel like you're not taking forever to get to the point, or sometimes I just mind blurb out loud and I don't even know that I said it out loud and I cut someone off. Like, sorry, that was supposed to be a thought. Does that ever happen to you guys? Am I the only one? Take back your power when you feel emasculated, when you feel like they're being part of the patriarchy and you're being squished. You don't need to like have a fist fight or a giant argument, but protest, dear ones. There's a billion ways to protest in a very funny way that will get your lover's attention and then be like, all right. You know what I mean? Find a way that's going to make your person laugh. Like, the whole point in a protest in a relationship is not to make the war bigger and cause a fight, but to make them see your side of it in a way that makes them smile and be like, maybe I have been resistant to their side of it. Because when they humanize you in a way, they soften. So, like, if it was me, I would be like, I don't know, I'll use an example. I'm sick of doing laundry. Like, of all these charts on the board, you never have laundry. That's like something you didn't write. And I've, like, who do you think does the laundry? The magical fucking fairy? I don't know what your fight is about. But my protest would, in that situation, would be just not doing it. Like, your kids are going to school with stinky clothes on, darling. You missed your laundry day. Well, I don't know if I would punish my kids. I'd probably wash my clothes and my kids' clothes, but not that person's clothes. And then eventually they're going to be like, why aren't you doing my laundry? I'm like, when was the last time you did my laundry? When was the last time you folded my laundry or put my socks together? And your person's going to be like, you could have just asked me. So make sure you ask them a couple times. Like, I do the 3 rule. I'm sorry, men. I don't mean to be offensive. Women, I do the 3 thing just that for everyone. Because I told people I was dating to do the 3 thing. Because I do the 3 thing. Say it 3 times. Like, not right back to back. Like a crazy person. Not all on the same day unless you have to if it's time sensitive. But if I, like, bring something up 3 times and that person still hasn't done it, and they're, like, dismissive, I'll just straight stop doing it. Or something to get their attention. Like, I'm not a doormat, and I'm not a maid, and if I was, you pay shit, and I did not get a tip. Motherfucker. Let's take your power back. You can be funny. You don't have to be, like, dick about it, but let them know they're overstepping. Different deck. It's not a part of your reading, it's a part of mine. Not my reading, my karmic shit. Big things are happening in my bloodlines. What they expect me to do about it. Anyway. Justice. Time to decide. And school. Exactly. Make sure you can't always be wrong and you can't always be right. And if they always have to be right and you're always wrong, that's a narcissistic relationship. That's a different day's topic. Basically is, sometimes you're going to be wrong and sometimes you're going to be right. We don't need to gloat, we don't need to rub it in, and we don't need to hold it over anyone's heads. I feel like a part of gender roles is competition, and we've associated an unhealthy connotation to competition inside relationships. And this causes fights and resentment. Time to decide. Ooh. I feel like when you look at the big picture, when you're married to someone, when you live with someone, if you have kids, think of your person like if they had grown up, if you had birthed them and they were in a relationship, are you treating that woman or man like how you would want your child to be treated? I know it's kind of fucked up, but that's the lesson in it. Like, what are we, teaching our children, and are we being fair to each other? Do we even agree with the things that we do? Is it just taught to us in genetics? We do it because our parents did it. My dad took out the trash, so me as the husband, I'm going to take out the trash. My mom always cooked and cleaned, so I, as the woman, have to cook and clean. We just do it because that, what else did you see growing up? Think about your kids and what they're seeing. You got to change it. I know that everybody likes to think of, we're going to change the world, but this kind of stuff changes household by household by household. It is 100% your choice in how you raise your kids and how you live inside your marriage and how you distribute responsibility and weight. That all depends on you. You don't have to live by society's rules that were placed upon by your parents or just society in general. Like, break the mold in your house. If not for you, for your kids. So that they don't grow up thinking the things we think are normal. Because it's not normal, I'm not saying this to be sexist, but inside the home, women do way more. Outside of the home, women or men have more weight. Like, they're expected to pay for everything and like all the financial stuff and to be tough. Like, every gender has a thing, and they shouldn't have a thing. There should be no thing attached to gender. We should all just do. We should all just have the same skill level. We all have the same athletic capabilities. We can all lift the same. It might take 3 women instead of 2 men. We can still do it. What else do we need to know about gender roles and relationships? Healer of Thought and 7 of Thought. This is about changing. You got to change it in your mind space because it's going to take work. You're going to keep tripping up and like falling back into old habits if you don't reprogram the mind. Like, no, just because I'm the woman doesn't mean I'm making dinner every night. I don't need to feel like I'm responsible for all the kids' baths and story times and getting their outfits in order. Like, that's a dad's job too, and vice versa. Don't feel like because you're a man you have to mow the freaking lawn and you know, kill all the bugs and do all the scary shit. And a lot of confusion in relationships come from, I don't know if I'm offending you by asking you this, or I don't know if I'm offending you by doing this because this is normally what you do. Like, some of our spouses and people in our relationship want to help, but sometimes people get snappy and territorial, so when they try to help, they get snapped at, so they just don't try to help anymore. And it's not necessarily they're doing it because of gender roles, they're just doing it because of attitude. So I feel like it's be aware of your responses to each other. Let's get some more. See where we're going with this one. A win-win solution and letting go. Yes. If you learn to talk, like sit and hash it out and talk about things, communication is everything. If you can live in the moment and deal with things when it's fresh and new, they don't have time to stack up. And you're quickly evolving into life's, you know, direction. I'm going to do a spiritual blessing after this. Yuck. But this is how a relationship is healthy. This is how a relationship stays balanced. How your relationship has longevity and you grow old. It's because you listen to each other and you have that relationship where you can say, hey, you hurt my feelings, or hey, you're being unfair to me, and it not be a big fight, and your person just be like, oh, why? Wow, why do you feel that way? Or why do you say that? And being able to really sit and listen, or making time in your day, even if it's like at the dinner table, even if it's breakfast, if it's in bed before you fall asleep, making time to talk to each other every single day. That just, if you talk to each other every single day, you're learning to just be able to say things, and here you're practicing listening and getting to know the other person, so that when the hard stuff comes, it's easier for you to say it out loud because you talk to each other about everything. Communication is everything. If you can't communicate healthy, clearly, and effectively when you need to, no relationship's going to survive that. And the more you communicate, the more you make time to talk to each other every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You guys can like talk to each other with your eyeballs from across the room because you get to know each other that well, how you think, how you feel. A lot of problems that come up in marriage and like cheating and all that stuff is people feeling neglected, not feeling valued or heard or respected. By every day sitting down and taking 15 minutes to, hey, how was your day? Good. Even if it's like awkward at first as you get, just make yourself do it. You can play a board game while you talk. You can do something while you talk if it's that awkward while you're getting to know each other and speak your mind. But you have to, a lot of it too comes from people getting lashed out at, like if they are themselves and they tell you how they truly feel and you just kind of yell and scream and like have a reaction to it, that's going to stunt the person from ever being vulnerable with their feelings again. So we got to be really careful of our reactions of each other. And I know sometimes it's hard when we're angry and like angry spew things. Everybody has a moment like that, especially depending on your bloodline. I just feel like a lot of bloodlines are a little bit hot-headed. You have a bad day. Say shit you don't mean. One, we got to learn not, like I said, to react in those moments so it becomes an explosion, but not to let it stick. Yeah. Change in the household. Change within. Change comes when you talk to each other. Change comes with action put into it. Change comes with the intention and, like I said, the action behind it. And you can't just talk about it. You gotta walk it out every day. You gotta, like, I would start with a 15-minute conversation every night before bed or midday. You can text each other on your lunch breaks if you are really busy. But it's just like forcing myself to put that into my schedule. And I'm organically programming myself to make room for that time. So that 2 weeks down the road, I have an extra 15 minutes for you. Because I've learned to put it in my day. And sometimes you have to do change like that because you're just that busy, and that's okay, as long as you're making room for it. And most of the time, change is very organic, and, there's no way to plan it. Synchronicities, there's going to be signs in relationships when trouble is coming, and it came this way because this is why relationships fail, is because either you see the signs and you're just too scared to address it, or you don't know how, or you just miss them altogether. The spiritual world doesn't want twin flames getting messages or lovers getting messages. But it's like understanding the signs, like, do you feel a pull away in your sexual tension? Do you feel a tension in the air? Are you bickering more than you're talking? Do you feel a distance? Do you feel something's off? It doesn't have to be big. It can be... Sorry, I got a bug bite on a mosquito bite and it itches. Like, that's the weirdest place to get a mosquito bite. Ew. But not seeing the signs is what trips everybody up. By speaking to each other every day, making time for each other every day. Like I said, you can look across the room and talk with your eyeballs, but because you're getting to know each other, you know when that something's off with that person. Like, you can spot it more than anyone because you're making time. Like, relationships are a lot of work. We forget that you have to be friends. You can't, it's not just sex, it's not just raising the kids, it's not just paying the bills together, it's not just going on family vacations, it's about being someone's friend, listening and letting someone vent and recognizing when they're not okay. That's the best friend's job, but also the spouse's job. Sometimes you need to be the best friend and sometimes you need to be the spouse. You got to be able to switch hats. And you got to be able to know your person enough to see the signs of, oh, that person isn't getting enough sleep. There must be something on their mind that's bothering them. Let me talk to them. Why aren't you sleeping? What are you thinking about? Or we haven't had sex in a while. Are you okay? Are you just tired? Are we good? Like, recognizing the signs when you see it and addressing it is very healthy, and that keeps a healthy relationship because you're dealing with it, and again, it's not stacking up. Everything stacks up and then it becomes overwhelming, and you have this giant mountain to go over, whereas when it happens, it's just like a tiny little speed bump. Mountain, speed bump. Which one would you prefer? Alright, let's get a few more. Yes, you can have a happy ending. Like, there's so much doom and gloom about relationships, and the world is really hard, but in order to have a happy ending, you have to let shit go. You can't be mad all the time. Yeah, you gotta decide what you're gonna put your energy to. Pick your battles. Days are short. Life is short. You know what I mean? So value your time together. You don't need to be fighting and arguing. You can have a simple 5-minute discussion. This is what I need. This is what you need. Let's look at our schedules. Or, all right, I'll think about it today and we'll talk about it tonight. And you think about it today and we'll, yeah, okay. I love you. You know what I mean? You're addressing, you're acknowledging. You're giving energy, give and take evenly. It doesn't happen 100% of the time, but for majority of the time, that's what makes a happy ending. Knowing each other enough to recognize when they need something, when something's off, listening, being a best friend, talking every day, addressing the things when they come up. Everything is a lesson. There's going to be things, like you're going to get in pockets where everything's really great for a while. You're jiving, there's no real issues, and then you're going to hit a couple years where there's just issue after issue after issue after issue, and you're like bumping heads because we're changing and evolving, and then got all this stress and the world and we don't talk to each other, and hence this whole therapy session. How you reparent yourself from gender roles is to simply not specify any particular task or responsibility because of a gender. And 2, by talking to each other, by saying, hey, we're doing things old-fashioned. Like, I don't want our kids to grow up and feel like they have to do this. Like, let's switch it up. Or, hey, this is bothering me today. Can we talk about it? Or every night we're going to snuggle and talk about our day and our dreams and our hopes. Making room, making time. That's what it's all about. Make room for change. Change is okay. Change is acceptable. Decide how you want to raise your kids and recognize that change in this area comes within the home. And your kids are going to grow up and they're going to teach their kids and then they're going to grow up. For this kind of change, it's going to be slow, but you can change gender roles within your family line by simply choosing not to have them. Everybody does everything. Do that chart. There's no man doing garbage. There's no women doing dishes. There's no men that have to pay all the bills or women that have to pay all the bills. It's equal. Everybody works. Whatever you decide, whatever your rules are, I'm not trying to put anything on you. Decide as a household. This is how we're going to do it. And that's going to change throughout the years too in some ways because you're evolving and you're adapting. But we get into nasty pockets of ourselves and we get into pockets that are really good and we do the lights work, but recognize that we're all going to fuck up. We're going to blunder it. We're going to say things we don't mean. And, have respect. At the end of the day, if you're always speaking with respect, if you're always having respect, and even when you're mad, and you just say, look, I have to go somewhere because I'm going to say something and it's really going to hurt you and I don't want to do that. So I need to go for a walk. That's a healthy thing. It's not like a threatening thing because you didn't say it. You didn't say it. Although you can't say that to a Virgo because for the rest of our life, we're going to be wondering what the fuck you would have said. Just trying to make you giggle. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. I just want to make it a little bit shorter to see if we get more feedback on the therapy sessions. Maybe an hour is too long. We shall see. If you like this, if you want to keep the therapy sessions or the Soulful Sessions with Spirit, let me know by sharing, liking, telling me in the comments, views. I have 4 videos in this series. We just finished the first one. Next week, like I said, will be how to change expectations placed on you as a child. And then we have 2 more. And if the ratings go up, if people are reacting to it, I'll continue on. I have 2 more series after that. But if not, there's a lot of energy that I put into this. And I'd rather give my energy to things that are going to be effective for the collective. Anyway, I love you all. I need to go to bed. Have a great Sunday or whenever you're watching this. And thank you for all my ride or dies out there that's been with me. New subscriber, old subscriber. I love you all. I appreciate you. I couldn't be here without you. And you make my heart swell and make me feel like there's hope in the world. I love you. Alright, see you guys later. I'm so extra today. I'm sorry. Toodaloo, boo-boo, boy.